attention is now firmly focused on France today, where leaders of the world's most powerful economies they have gathered for the G7 summit. Prime Minister Modi is attending his 7th G7 meeting at the time when the global geopolitical landscape is witnessing unprecedented turbulence. From the Iran crisis, the Ukraine war to the trade tensions and the energy security concern, the summit comes against a backdrop of multiple global flashpoints. Now, yesterday, Prime Minister Modi joined fellow world leaders for the traditional G7 family photo and outreach engagement, underscoring India's growing role in the global affairs. But today, all eyes will be on what could be the most closely watched interaction of the summit. The much anticipated meeting that will take place between Prime Minister Modi and Donald Trump, all set to take place at around 6:15 p.m. in the evening. The meeting is expected to focus on the host of critical issues. Let's tell you more about that. The meeting is being closely watched, not just for the optics, but for the significance at a critical moment in the global affairs. This will be the first face-to-face meeting between the two leaders since February last year, coming against the backdrop of increasingly volatile geopolitical landscape. The interaction also follows a period marked by differences over trade, tariff issue, making it very important opportunity for both the sides to re-engage and potentially reset the tone of the bilateral ties. So that is the latest we're learning as far as this crucial meeting that will take place in another 12 hours that is concerned. And with that, we have another breaking update coming in, because top sources are telling Times now that the situation in West Asia, the Strait of Hormuz, energy imports from the US will be discussed during this crucial meeting between the Prime Minister and US President Donald Trump on the sidelines of the G7 summit in France. India and US are keen on a very long-term energy partnership. The trade deal is in the final stage, and work should be done over the next few weeks is what we are learning so far. So that will be the key focus when it comes to the war in West Asia. Strait of Hormuz, energy imports from US, they will be discussed during the meeting between the Prime Minister and US President Donald Trump on the sidelines of the G7 summit. As we told you, Prime Minister has already highlighted the killing of 3 sailors at the sea. But at this point in time, we're learning that host of critical issues will be taken up during this crucial meeting. That includes the war, the Strait of Hormuz, energy imports. All of these issues will be discussed. Have a look at this ground report.
Prime Minister Modi and President Trump will be meeting Wednesday afternoon here in Evian on the sidelines of the G7 summit. This is the first time that Prime Minister Modi and President Trump will be meeting in almost a year and a half. The last time they met was in February of 2025 at the White House. Thereafter, there have been some sticking points in the relationship. The trade issue has not been resolved fully. The interim trade agreement has still not been concluded between India and the United States. In fact, the U.S. Chief Trade Representative Jameson Greer is going to be in New Delhi, I think, next week. So that issue is top of mind for both the Indian and American leaders. But more proximately and more recently, an issue that's caused a lot of outrage in India as well is the killing of the 3 Indian sailors off the Strait of Hormuz. In fact, in Omani waters, the United States has not expressed any kind of regret or remorse for the same. In fact, some would say, and certainly some supporters of the BJP have taken grave exception to the statement that was put out by the US State Department, which seemed rather contrite. Like I said, no remorse, no apologies. So this is an issue that is expected to be taken up when the Prime Minister and the President meet. And overall, the feeling is that the strategic partnership of the last 25 years is seeing some chinks. It is definitely seeing some sticking points, and perhaps now is the time for both the leaders to put their heads together at the highest level to try and iron out these differences.
And as Prime Minister Modi and US President Donald Trump hold a crucial talk, several key issues are expected to dominate the discussion, from the death of three Indian sailors to trade negotiation, tariff tensions, energy security concern linked to Iran, and H-1B visa rules. Both the leaders face very important agenda that could reshape the future of the relationship between the two countries. So there are hosts of issues that could be taken up. That includes issue number 1, that is the death of 3 Indian sailors, interim India-US trade deal that is yet to be finalized, tariff dispute, Iran energy security, and most importantly, the issue of H-1B visa and mobility. So these are the issues that could be taken up during the crucial meeting that will take place between the Prime Minister and US President Donald Trump later today. Let me get you more perspective on this and go across to my colleague Mayank, who's been tracking all the details. Mayank, good morning. All eyes will be on that meeting between the Prime Minister and US President Donald Trump. Take us through the issues that will be taken up, because the last time both the leaders met was last year, but a lot has happened since that meeting took place. So what can be expected today?
Good morning, Akansha. Lots of things are to be discussed as the things have been happening the last almost a month or two, because the way the things have dealt for the immediate, the death of 3 sailors has brought in something which is being discussed at multiple levels as far as India and US is concerned. So it is something which is definitely expected to be discussed at length. Because on that also the kind of operation which was utilized, or the way the US naval forces had used missiles to strike the merchant vessel, it had brought in lots of questions as to the kind of operation and the methodology used to disable the warship. Also, there are other things like the way the things are happening at the global level, which includes the Ukraine-Russia war, and Middle East is something on which it is also being discussed from the in the sense that how they have shaped up and what can be India and US roles in that area. That is also very important, which can be discussed between the two.
Absolutely, because a lot has happened ever since they met in February last year. So host of issues that will be taken up during the crucial meeting today. Thank you so much, Mayank, for getting us all those details. With this a very short break, more news and updates on the other side.